where the muscles contract because of certain chemicals and other hormones that are activated when an electrical signal comes on, among other neurotransmitters, that cause the muscle fibers to contract and enclose together based on this sliding filament theory, and that's how any of the muscles actually get to move. And all of this involves energy, specifically ATP, and you know how energy is stored or used in the body?
Mitochondria.
Yes, the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
You're going to need to know that too.
But do you know what happens when you take in too much glucose, too much energy, that is considered excess and that you really don't need?
No, what happens?
Well, that's when the endocrine system comes into play, which is mainly focused around the pituitary gland in the center of the brain. Although the endocrine system includes many other glands, such as the adrenal gland for adrenaline, and the pineal gland, which produces chemicals that make you fall asleep, as it is commonly known. But in order to regulate glucose levels, the body needs insulin, which is part of the endocrine system. And when you have a lack of insulin, this can produce some diabetes. Do you know how the body stays protected from any foreign substances?
Would that be part of the immune system?
Yes, it is. Good job, Casey.
Thank you.
The immune system is also known as the lymphatic system because they involve each other with the leukocytes and the T cells and all the lymph tissue and the lymph nodes, which are in your thighs, by the way. All this works together in order to protect your muscles, your blood, and all your cells from any foreign substances that could harm them. Don't you think it's amazing how all this comes together in order to make movement, or just movement in your legs?
The body's an amazing thing, Liam.
It is truly amazing. Casey, I have another question for you.
Yes, Liam.
Do you feel the urge to pee right now?
I believe the correct term is to urinate. And yes, I did.
Do you know why?
Because I went for a run.
That could be one of the reasons. But also because your body took in fluids, and now it has an excess of fluids. Those fluids went through the kidney, and a lot of the nutrients were absorbed. A lot of the vital nutrients and salts that could be absorbed from them were. And the body is releasing what it doesn't need, a lot of water, and other things called uric acid and urea with that urine. Casey, let me ask you one last question before we go today.
Okay.
Would you like to know the proper sequence for muscle contraction?
Sure, why not?
The full thing in detail?
Sure, why not?
Good. Who wouldn't want to know it?
I have no idea.
Okay, first, the action potential arrives at an axon terminal at the neuromuscular junction. And then, acetylcholine is released, which binds to receptors on the sarcolemma, and then the ion permeability of the sarcolemma changes, which means that more ions can be let into the sarcolemma. This causes a local change in membrane voltage, known as depolarization, and that local depolarization ignites an AP in the sarcolemma. That AP travels across the entire sarcolemma, then travels along the T-tubules, and after that, the sarcoplasmic reticulum releases Ca2+, which binds to troponin. Then the myosin-binding sites, known as the active sites, on the actin are exposed, and the myosin heads bind to the actin, and altogether, with many many actin molecules, an entire muscle fiber has been contracted. And when many, many muscle fibers are contracted, then that produces the muscle contraction that we saw in your legs when you were running. Did you find that interesting?
Yes, I did.
Good. Isn't anatomy fun?
Yes, anatomy is the bomb.com.